Hello, Parkway Hills friends. This is Reverend Dawn Douglas Flowers, and I am here today with Melanie Kapinos. She is the Donor Relationship Manager for Heifer International, which basically means she helps people connect with Heifer and the work that they do and helps them get connected with that ministry. So I'm going to let her share today just some about Heifer. We're continuing our I Am series, looking at those I Am statements of Jesus, and the hope is to remind us all during these hard times that there's still some good work happening in the world. God is still moving and working, and there are still many people striving to be community together. So welcome, Melanie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. Well, if you will just share a little bit for those who may not know what Heifer International is, kind of some of its history, and then maybe a snapshot of how it looks today.
Absolutely. So Heifer got its start 76 years ago this July. A gentleman named Dan West was a member of the Church of the Brethren, and he was volunteering his time in Spain after the Spanish Civil War, distributing milk packets to kids and their families there. And he saw that they needed a long-term solution to their hunger and poverty. So he returned to his community back in the United States, and he was explaining to his friends and family members, and they established what is now known as Heifer International. So I would be amiss if I didn't explain our seagoing cowboys, where we will take cattle, and over 7,000 men and women traveled with these cattle overseas to Europe following World War II and gave people a sustainable means to feed themselves. And that's how we really got started.
I've been familiar with Heifer for a while, but I had never heard that story. So I appreciate that's a great picture. And 76 years, wow. I also didn't know that Dan was from the Church of the Brethren, so that has some Methodist roots from that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a lot of our supporters are still Church of the Brethren, but we are now a non-denominational, non-religious organization that still partners and depends on churches all over the country. So very much roots in faith for sure.
Well, can you give us kind of a snapshot of how Heifer works today, kind of some of the work that they're doing, places that they exist, just what's going on?
Absolutely. So we are working within 21 different countries across the globe, including the United States. So what that means for us in, August, September of 2020 is we are working within places that have all been affected by COVID in different ways. And we are really utilizing technology and innovation wherever you can, wherever it's most appropriate in those places. So there's four things, I kind of outlined 4 areas of Heifer's work that's really exciting me right now. In the United States, our work in Arkansas, specifically with Heifer USA, is donating thousands of pounds of food to local food banks, which is very exciting. Meanwhile, they're building on their own programs there. You can watch Heifer USA tours of their ranch and how they're just really revitalizing the environment and building a really sustainable space in Arkansas. We've got a program, a second thing that I outlined, Hatching Hope. It's a program that's happening in collaboration with an organization named Cargill. And it's happening in 3 different countries. It's in Ghana, it's in Mexico, and it's in Kenya. And what we're doing is, India, Ghana, and Mexico, forgive me. And we just think that the poultry business, it's one that it's easy for folks to set up. It's low cost, and it's a really high source of protein for people who have access to eggs and who have access to chickens. Each egg actually has 6 grams of protein. And so by helping communities establish a poultry business, they're really setting themselves up for selling their eggs, selling their chickens, and processed chicken meat. So this has been huge. We hope to help 100 million people by 2030. And
Wow.
so it just demonstrates the scale at which Heifer is working right now. People often think of us as an organization that will give a goat, for example, but what we're really doing is we're helping entire communities connect with markets so that they can really multiply their work and raise the living income for entire communities right now. So that's what Heifer is really doing today. Um, Another couple things in Ecuador, when COVID happened, there were some government shutdowns that obviously affected everyone in Ecuador the same way they did here. Well, our Heifer Ecuador partners established some of the first food delivery systems in Ecuador. We took for granted here that we were able to get food, delivered to us, but this wasn't the same in other places. And so we've established, Heifer Ecuador created a catalog. They developed some of the first, safety delivery practices in Ecuador, and now in 8 different Ecuadorian cities, we're delivering food to the people of Ecuador, and Heifer got that going. I just think that's really exciting.
That's a great story to share. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and I'm talking too much. So, do you have any? Should I pause for a second?
No, this is all even like I said. It was funny you said that that a lot of people think of Heifer as providing a chicken, or I mean that's kind of the picture I've always given, because we've always done the kind of drives in the churches I've served where you raise money to provide a cow so I love these little stories you're giving to give people a broader picture of the connection it provides, the sustainability it provides, and that it's aiding people to kind of create their own markets. So yeah, that's some exciting work. It sounds like some good things are happening.
Yeah, I would say everyone can look forward to Heifer's upcoming World Arc. It's a quarterly magazine that you can read online. And I like the one coming out for this fall because it shows how different technologies, both simple and more caught up with 2020, are really advancing our work. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Just the way that chickens are held in Tanzania, we're using a very simple basket system that moves into a larger cage. And then on the other side of things, Heifer is using blockchains to show where our food comes from. I think that if COVID has done, and if there's a silver lining here, it's that it's shown a light on how important our food system is, and that farmers, small scale farmers, are very much essential employees, and we need them, and we want them to be safe and healthy and well taken care of. So we're using blockchains to, especially in the United States through Heifer USA, to show folks who are getting our meats or our products where our food is coming from, so that we are connecting ourselves with these first responders and thinking of them when we break bread together at dinner time.
Yes, and such a human connect. I mean, you think at the table, that's such a human connection, and such a important part of our own humanity and our own sustainability. So I love that. That's helping us. Yeah, like you said, COVID did remind us kind of some of the simple, basic, but necessary things that maybe we all take for granted.
Absolutely.
Well, is there a website, and we'll make sure we put it on the screen for people to see, but if someone wants more information, or they want to give or see more about your work, where can they go and do that?
Heifer.org. We are a 501c3, so a nonprofit organization. Go to heifer.org. I will also we're also on Facebook and Instagram. There's some awesome videos on YouTube, just highlighting some of our work. And I would also encourage you to, we've got some fireside chats that our CEO has been filming with folks across the food industry, across the United States and the world. So there's a lot of awesome Heifer resources that didn't even exist, 6 months ago to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't followed you on Facebook or Instagram either, so I'll have to check that out, and maybe we can share some of those. Yeah, it's crazy how much, just this interview for our church that we're putting out there is a perfect example in the past 6 months of ways we're all trying to reconnect. Well, Melanie, I appreciate you sharing this time. As again, the hope is that we're reminding people in the midst of what has been a hard time and is a hard time, that there's just so much good still happening in so many ways that we can continue to be community, that we can continue to share love and grace together. So I appreciate you bringing some of that to the table and sharing another way that this is happening around the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting us. We appreciate your time.